me, damn it! Just shut up!
I like it when you go, just shut up and fuck me, damn it. Just shut up and fuck.
Oh, just shut up.
Oh, here's
Say it. Just shut up and fuck me, damn it! Just shut up and fuck!
They laughed. They did?
I'm Danita Sparks, guitar vocals.
I'm Dee Placus, drums.
I'm Susie Gardner, guitars, vocals.
I'm Jennifer Finch, bass vocals.
There's just a limited amount of ferocious, free-thinking, kind of, I don't want to say oddballs, but we were just all built a little bit different.
We're a little drained.
Okay, then should we pack up somehow?
Yeah, we played tonight and
They were very politicized. I mean, they spoke out against war, they had songs about feminism.
They were openly, brazenly feminist, and it was done with real balls-to-the-wall fire.
It was easy to describe them, then they wouldn't be great, right? But it's just that they're a powerful band. And sometimes when women are powerful, people think that that means they're like, why are they so mad? And it's like, no, they're not mad. They're expressing, like, strength.
The first time I saw them, it was electric. It was just a constant sonic assault.
They were punk rockers at heart. They would come up on stage and rip it up.
They had the riffs, they had the songs, they just rocked.
In mid to late 80s in Los Angeles, there were factions. There were hard rock, hair band people of the Sunset Strip. There were punks at the Anti-Club and Al's Bar. You could be anything and play Raji's. I mean, you could be Screamin' Jay Hawkins or punk rockers. Then it became very crossover. Everybody was going everywhere.
That was an era in that period of the 80s. Art and rock mixed a lot. I was sort of more into the Silver Lake scene, which was just tiny at that point, but you know, where rock was mixed with performance art, poetry readings, drag shows. You know, we were playing anything we could get on. But you know, our very first coverage was from the metal scene. And there were all female metal bands, for sure. But, you know, there was a much different thing than we were doing. We liked hard rock in the Motorhead vein. We didn't like it in the Poison vein. We didn't tease our hair. We didn't wear a lot of makeup. We weren't wearing bustiers. If we were going to be looked at, we were thrashing. were a very physical band, you know, doing knee drops and headbanging and flinging our hair and diving in the audience.
Rocking like, you know, legs spread wide apart, guitars low, rocking it. You know, we weren't the Bangles. You know, no one was trying to look really pretty or worried about anything but just rocking.
Really, we came with authenticity, and I think that our generation was about identifying the authentic.
I imagine that we'd probably do a couple regional tours, like go up to Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, and then we'd probably fizzle. L7 and the L7 trajectory is a trip. It's kind of classic. It's rags to riches to rags. My mom took me to see Liberace when I was little, and he did 13 costume changes. It was pretty amazing. She didn't like rock and roll music at the beginning. You know, when I was a kid, she took away the radios because I was listening to the devil's music. I'd hide it under my pillow, and that would make her even more mad that I was sleep learning the devil's music. But she came around.
I wanted to get the hell out of the south side of Chicago, which was culturally pretty bleak. At that time, you know, you had fantasies of moving to New York or London or Berlin. And I was like, wow, well, I really like surf music. And I loved like Hollywood Babylon kind of stuff. So then I completely got obsessed with LA and like singular focus to move to Los Angeles. And I didn't know anybody.
You going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Thank you very much.
Download Veely now.
Danita and I were traveling in the same circle of people, kind of LA Weekly, music, arty crowd. I had done some poetry performances and I got published a little bit, but that's not what I wanted. I mean, and somebody who was a poet should have gotten really excited. But after a while, I kept seeing my name being associated with poetry, and I was actually kind of ticked off about that. I really wanted to rock.
Susie and I were from this underground art punk scene on the east side of LA, Silver Lake, Echo Park. That's where all like the arty punks lived. Our mutual friends were just like, yeah, well, you should meet Susie. She plays guitar. And they were like, yeah, you should meet Danita. She plays guitar. Susie, to me, was wild in the way of she seemed like a gal with not much to lose. Her lifestyle was a little bit, it was edgier than mine in a dangerous way. Susie hung out with bikers and shit. She looked very punk mixed with metal, and I was more like goofy, wild. I'd wear Coca-Cola pants and shit like that. I wasn't really a fishnet kind of gal. Susie was.
Danita seemed a little more aggressive than I was. And it got kind of intense once in a while. I wondered, like, what? How am I going to work with this person? But I stuck it out, and she thought my songs were good, I guess.
I went over to her apartment in Silver Lake, and she played me a cassette of the music she was working on, and I was like, oh my God, it was hard, and it was heavy, and it was sludgy. Susie had the first musical template for L7. I think Susie was concerned that I was going to be too political. Susie just purely wanted to rock, you know? I kind of felt like I had something to say. I was raised to be political. I was raised to question authority. Susie wanted to express her emotions. I wanted to change the world somehow. We went through a succession of players. It was like a year and a half. Oh, we need a new bass player. Oh, we need a new drummer. Generally, dudes who wanted to play hard rock had no desire to play with women. It was just taboo at the time.
We had to put ads in the paper to find new people, looking for a drummer who would like Ramones, Frightwig, Iggy Pop. We didn't care what gender as long as they rocked.
It was really, really hard. Shitty gigs and just weird people around. Being broke all the time, trying to keep our part-time jobs, keep our cars running. And there were times when she wanted to stop, and there were times when I wanted to stop, and each of us had talked each other back into it, like to keep going. It was a couple years of me and Susie slugging it out, the dark days. And that's when Jennifer came in. There was this persistent chick who had come to see our shows, and she approached me and she was like, I want to play bass. She almost challenged me to let her in the band.
I didn't really know very much about bass. I had been playing with Courtney Love, but it was very limited, and I had to borrow a bass and learn what an amplifier was really quick.
We were almost on our last legs when Jennifer came in to the band, and Jennifer was very driven.
She was very passionate, and she knew a lot of people, and she went out a lot, and she rocked like headbanging crazy.
I knew that I would have to make up for my inability to play with attitude.
It started feeling more real after Jennifer joined, because it just started feeling more like a rock unit. And she was very socially connected.
Jennifer was a kid on the LA punk rock scene, and there was some momentum.
She had a network of people that she could call and booked gigs.
The fact that we were starting to be embraced by this metal scene was very surprising to me. There was a lot of testosterone. It seemed very misogynistic. We were the antithesis of that scene. Jennifer came in like 87. We recorded a record. And then the next year, 1988, we went on tour with Bad Religion. When we came home, it was just kind of back to the same old struggle. Our drummer quit. Then people told us about Dee.
I was in my living room, stoned, listening to Patti Smith's Radio Ethiopia, and I hear a knock on the door, and I see Danita. I was like, damn, this chick is fierce looking. I was like, oh my God, it was like memories of like being in Chicago in the bathroom at one of those punk rock places, because I never looked very punk, and I almost got my hair cut off in one of those bathrooms without my consent.
And she called me up and said, I want to come down and audition, and pulled up in a Country Squire station wagon. And as soon as she played, it was like perfect, And Susie and I just looked at each other like, fuck yes. Numerous friends from other bands were like, this is your missing link. This was the one, now it's go time. There were a lot of labels all over the country that had strong scenes bubbling up. Like there was Minneapolis and Seattle and Portland and Houston and Austin and Chapel Hill and New York City, and Sub Pop was one of the strong indie labels. Jennifer and Courtney were listening to a lot of records out of Seattle, on Sub Pop in particular, and we figured we better get up there. When we got to Seattle, it was on fire. There was just an energy there for sure. They were much more progressive than LA. It's like night and day. You had the cool guys who were all PC and they were all feminists who were like not threatened by us and thought we were cool and good. We were being accepted as a real fucking rock band.
Jennifer was always in touch and in tune with this label and everything that was going on. So the guys from Sub Pop were coming to see us live.
They liked our set a lot and wanted to know if we would do a Sub Pop Single of the Month club, which was like a huge deal. So we recorded Shove for a January 1990 release. It sort of kicked off the 90s for us, and we had an underground hit on our hands. We used to joke that Sub Pop was the gateway to Europe, and it was for us because we toured Europe. All of a sudden, the single, 4.5 years into our band life, was breathing life into us.
This scene was all over the world at that point.
We knew tons of cool bands in the underground by then. Everybody was getting a lot of attention. For L7, the momentum, you just felt it.
Every show in 1990 was an epic event. There were promoters that didn't pay us, that we had to make them empty their pinball machines. There was a promoter that touched Anita inappropriately, so we all peed in his hat. We broke down in Barstow, and my father came and picked us up. Craziness, vans breaking, explosions, knife fights.
We were forced to sleep on people's floors. So in doing that, you get to meet their friends and the whole scene. Usually the people who are asking you if you need a place to stay, Mud Hutting were there the week before on their floor. Sub Pop said, we'd like to make a record with you. So we did Smell the Magic. We recorded that up in Seattle with Jack and Dino.
It was such a punk rock DIY recording session.
He just liked raw power coming out. Fast and Frightening is an homage to a wild female. Because I've always hated, oh, she's got balls, and I'm like, why do people fucking say that? That's so lame, why does it take balls to be fierce?
Oh, got so much clit, she don't need no balls, she's fast, she's lean.
I like to contradict, the status quo in rock. Nobody played a V. It was considered a very metal douche guitar, and so I just thought it was hilarious. Even with my gear, I was a stubborn nonconformist. At that time, bands from the underground were getting on MTV. If I were at a friend's house and 120 Minutes came on, it was like, wow, Sonic Youth is on. Holy shit, Sonic Youth are on MTV?
L7 started to talk about what would the possibility look like to be on a major label.
It was a distribution issue for us. It was like, oh man, we have to be in the stores more. Even though Sub Pop was great, once you were on a major, then you were everywhere. And I was very much into infiltrating the masses.
Slash had a deal with Warner Brothers, and we were all friends with everyone at Slash. And really, it was such a great move for us as far as being part of a historical Los Angeles label.
We got a shit deal from Slash, but on the other hand, we became worldwide. As far as major labels knowing what to do with us, they didn't. We didn't have a good record deal. I don't think I've seen a dime from the sale of our records. But we signed to Slash. I quit my job at the Weekly, and then we were in the studio with Butch Vig. We're spending big fucking money, and they treat us, and we're treated like husbands.
And Brian, if you load that email package.
Susie, just start singing.
Oh, forget it.
Queen in Memphis, and I had to take
You're
her
rushing the-
upstairs for a ride. But she had to keep me around.
Excuse me, ma'am. Why are you staring at me?
Elvis stayed here.
Who?
Elvis.
Can you point me?
Which street did Elvis stay in?
I believe.
No.
The one that we're in?
Elvis stayed in the same suite that we're in.
In the Admiralty suite? Pull it
you.
out. Dee, what did you just order, honey?
I ordered 2 Miller Genuine Drafts and 2 Sharps.
Party down.
We're partying down here.
Party
at L7.
naked.
Look, this is rock and roll. Well,
Okay, a toast. We're stuck here for a month.
There you go.
Our first record that's gonna make Billboard. Please don't hate me 'cause I'm beautiful. Please don't hate me 'cause I'm lovely. You'll be better off than you are. Or would you rather be a stool? A stool is a pile of excrement, in case you didn't know. Here's Susie and I's bedroom. You know, there's no safety liner over the toilet.
Disturbing you.
We're now talking to John.
Oh,
He just
okay.
informed us that he's marrying the chick
I just
from the
wanted to tell you
Smashing
about that from
Pumpkins.
the studio. And now there's something I'm going to ask you, but believe me, don't think this, I'm being silly, but it's important because, like I said, I'm an experienced married woman. You know, I mean, how's the sex? It's pretty awesome. That's good. So she gives good head and all that. Hey, that's an important look. Kirk would have dumped me in a second if I couldn't suck the chrome off a trailer here.
Yes.
Hi.
This is L7.
Look at all the records they've done here.
Hey,
Was this a single?
I know, I was just gonna say.
Ow.
I like that photo. It's kind of interesting.
Seltzer, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and Triple X is, of course, ice cold Frosties.
Okay.
Okay.
This is all for
It's
us.
illegal to advertise that there's anything other than Triple X in there, so
But there's really beer in here?
yes,
Beer
ice
in
cold
that one.
Frosties.
Nightmare! In the daylight! That was cool.
I think that sounds cool.
Part of it. All of it.
Why does everything take 5 hours?
Because we're professionals.
That's a good answer.
Good answer.
Because we're pro! Because we're professionals.
No, because we care. Because we care.
While we were in the studio with Butch, Nirvana released Nevermind, and it blew up. It would be like if all of a sudden one day you woke up and your kid sister or kid brother was internationally famous overnight. That's what it felt like.
Everywhere I go, everywhere I turn, I see this fucking face! Frankly, I'm sick of it. And then there's White Zombie, and Teenage Fan Club are in there. T. And Super Chunk. See, all our friends are in this. And we'll never be in there. We'll never make it to.
Are you singing on the chorus on this?
Yes, I am.
We gotta do this chorus. I don't want her to do the back vocal or her vocal until you do your vocal, because
Okay.
she's singing under you, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna sing a.
I'm mounting her, as it were. 3 weeks on the road and we're playing ball in the hall. 3 weeks on the road. Ready? Begin. 1, 2. Susie, could you get the walnuts that are in the kitchen so we can leave them for the squirrels?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look. The squirrels are looking for you. They think you're nuts.
Okay, now come towards me.
Stop it! Stop it!
Okay.
Here, you might guitar.
Come towards me.
So
Suburban, middle-class, white America, get ready for the most dangerous women in the country.
Rolling a joint on the Nirvana spin.
Screw in 92!
Are you supposed to be extras on the Weird Al video?
Why, yes, we are. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
No, we're doing our own video.
Hey, are you guys going over there?
Yeah.
Tell them L7's at stage 4.
We did a video for Fast and Frightening with Gore Verbinski. That was our first video. That was really fun. That was like punk rock too. That was just like the opposite of doing Pretend We're Dead. You know, Pretend We're Dead was like a big, music video. That caused Anita a lot of grief. She was not pleased about a lot of the stuff, was fighting for her creative view, what she wanted and, what they wanted. And, oh, you can't have the roadkill in there and you can't have, and it was just like, we started getting that taste of being on a major. Anita did not like losing control of the art. It was exciting. Since Susie got hit in the head with the crane, of course, that wasn't exciting.
All of a sudden I hear somebody shout really loudly, like, hey! Then the camera came down and the matte box hit my ear and it ripped my ear off. Not all the way, but ripped my ear, so the whole back of it was a cut, and it broke a bone in my orbital. I still have numbness to this day from that.
The album is titled Bricks Are Heavy. But we're changing that since Susie's crane accident to Cranes Are Heavy.
Yeah.
We blame Susie for everything. She broke, she broke the camera with her head.
It fell on me from the camera fell on me from 20 feet in the air. And I narrowly escaped with my life.
Here she comes. Culo first. I can't find my other boots.
Oh, they're gonna heat up a microwave.
Is that place open over there?
Can you go inside?
You can go inside. Okay. Thank you. Are you gonna walk over there? I'm gonna piss somewhere. Oh, Jesus! Whoa, look at that.
Wow, I'm impressed, Anita. Look at the overspray on that. Hey, can we get a tape measure out here? Sex farm, baby!
Got to get out of this hellhole!
Look, you got a new camera?
Yeah, we got a new camera. Now, check this out.
Well, it tickles, I can tell you how much I like this.
Oh, we know, you freak. Oh, wait, turn around. Let me help you, son! Let me help you, son! Don't hurt her!
We brought out the exhibitionist in our roadies.
It just seems that if you're involved with L7, you probably are just something of like a nudist and life lover, so you don't mind running naked on stage.
We didn't ask them to do anything beneath their dignity. They volunteered.
up in hotel rooms, smoking big cigars, having big old bags of beads, counting the money. We gotta hire a different guy to count the money.
Please welcome L7.
I don't know if meticulous is the right word with the band image, but we were aware of the scrutiny that we were getting for being all gals. I don't know how to put this into words. I guess I just have to say it. You couldn't be too sexy. If you were too fluffy or cutesy or something, then you weren't going to be noticed as being a musician. And I think we were aware of that.
So let me ask you, I mean, I was thinking, well, how do I ask him a question that has anything to do with being 4 women without one of them wanting to, like, hit me or something like that? Are you
How do you know we're women? How do you know we're women? Are you sure? No one knows but our hairdressers.
Maybe it is a big assumption. Is this something that everybody still asks you guys about, is being a quote-unquote girl group, and you just not deal with it?
Well, you know, it's a part of us. I mean, we are who we are, you know, but there's many parts of us as well.
Mm-hmm.
We not only have poontangs, we also have armpits.
That's right. Many parts to the anatomy, exactly.
We really wished that gender would just go away, that we would be seen as rock musicians. You know, Danita did a really good job with, like, screwed up crazy lipstick and eyes, and Danita and Jennifer would put stripes on their bodies. What is it like to be a girl in a band? It just was annoying, you know? The point was to rock, and please recognize us for our rock.
When L7 formed and they started playing, they were an anomaly because they were as heavy as the fucking boys.
What I liked about L7 is they were not afraid to be ugly, but they knew that that's not enough. It's not enough to just be a cute face. And their music was raunchy and a bit ugly too.
They weren't trying to appeal to anybody. They weren't trying to appease anybody.
You know, they were really the first band that I saw where they looked very, you know, raw. They were not, I mean, even if they wear makeup, it's not to look hot, or they're not trying to sell sex at all, which is why L7 is a really big inspiration, I think, for everybody that was kind of exposed at that time.
There are a lot of women in the audience tonight, so while you're doing your thing in the pit, please be considerate of them. That's all we're asking, okay?
Unfortunately for women, they have been sidelined to a certain degree. They're not necessarily always seen as legitimate or as important or as deep or intellectual or whatever word you want to use as their male counterparts.
There was so much blah, 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 like, about women in rock at that time that I just think back and I cringe. It was noteworthy and it was worthy of conversation, but it got so tedious being asked all the time what it's like to be a woman in rock, and I can only imagine what it felt like for them.
I think they had a good time, like, making fun of a lot of interviewers, and they poked fun at everything. But it's unfair for them to be labeled in that way, and I think a lot of female musicians got really pissed off about that label.
So you put on an L7 record and it rocks, and so then it transcends all that, you know, gender and all that.
Just forge through and just play a badass show. They always did, you know, and that was constantly inspirational. But that's the only response you can give them, really, is turn it up.
Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mama. Charity bomb.
The abortion rights issue was really just getting hammered. You know, I had been, you know, in the 80s, I was protecting clinics, you know, on a Saturday morning and shit, dragging my ass out of bed. So when we got some clout, we wanted to do a pro-choice benefit concert and partnered up with the Feminist Majority Foundation and started Rock for Choice. The first show was at the Hollywood Palace, and it was Nirvana, L7 Hole, and Sister Double Happiness. We did a lot more shows in LA, and then they spread all over the country. And if you think of any big act from that time period, I mean, from Iggy Pop to Joan Jett to Fugazi to The Offspring, Beastie Boys, Chili Peppers, Bikini Kill, Lunatics, Babes in Toyland, everybody did a Rock for Choice show.
Did y'all sign the pro-choice petitions out front, all it takes is a signature.
There's also at the White House.
Hey, hey! Whoa, whoa! George Bush got you!
The Positive Force DC show was historic. It was the night before the March on Washington for pro-choice. And it was with Bikini Kill, Fugazi, and L7.
We've been under a lot of pressure lately, and it would really allow us to blow off some steam if you danced first on stage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And we have a costume for you to wear.
Ian, we're simple women with simple desires.
You are simple women, there's no doubt about that.
That's gotta hurt. Oh God, that really hurt my feelings. Oh gosh. We're simple women with simple minds.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that kind of logic.
I called Ian and his band the Alan Aldas of punk. He called us the Carol Burnett's of punk.
I think we had the most feminist moment on stage with Slimenstra Hyman coming out, doing her fire dance, but the audience kind of poo-pooed it, like they couldn't get the humor of it. The Guar and Fugazi scenes were very different. I mean, how can you not fucking love Slimenstra Hyman? Maybe we overshot it. We were activists in that way, but as far as becoming spokespeople for stuff, we kind of thought, well, shit, we're a band. Because in interviews, we wanted to talk about the music, we wanted to talk about our touring, but it was getting very focused on pro-choice. And so even though Rock for Choice kept going and still had huge concerts, we had to pull back and focus on the band.
L7 in the history of rock is really, really, really important. But I think L7 was way more impactful in my life because it was all girls and also was really aggressive.
We just listened to them all the time, constantly, in the garage and in my bedroom and on my Walkman CD player, walking to school, walking back from school, in school.
That time period was really incredible for women in music. It was a time when girls were feeling empowered to go out and be aggressive. And I don't mean just turn around and punch somebody, but go out and do whatever it was they wanted to do, encouraged to be themselves.
Hello, I'm Anita Sparks from L7. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. And whenever we're in the Big Apple, we watch On Patrol video.
Really?
Really? Well, that and Geraldo.
Let's see.
That's when my sister told me this, and she said he watched you on David Letterman from his big chair.
Tonight, making their network television debut, please welcome L7.
And he, I guess she did know what she was doing. Up until that moment, he didn't believe that it could be a career for me until I was on the TV. And of course, because he could tell all his friends. My daughter was on David Letterman. Did you see it? Like, oh yeah, we saw her, Harry. Knocking over everything.
L7, Paul, what do you think? Yeah, swinging band. I hope the girls aren't starting to run around with the wrong crowd.
We flew to England and we got picked up at the airport by London Records in a limousine. And I remember Danita and I were like, who's paying for this?
Okay, who's paying for this? You are! Get in the car!
We were in this limo going to our hotel or whatever, right into interviews, and our publicity person said, how does it feel to be in the top of the Pops? And I was like, what? I don't think I really understood what they were talking about, that L7 had really broken a huge barrier in England pop culture, in British music. And I was still working as a maid. Like, I still had a day job.
You playing here tonight?
Yeah.
We're playing
Are
there
you
tonight.
L7?
Uh-huh.
We were becoming more a part of the music machine, you know, with publicity and all those things going for us. I mean, if you don't do those things, then you're not going to chart.
Hey there, Georgie girl. La 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 la.
I put your stuff out on the porch. Break the slide. You piss in your pants and put out the torch. Break the slide. You splatter the bathroom when you're all head down. Break the slide. I'm kicking you out and you know why. Yeah, I've been let me slide. You've been a lawful ride.
No.
Lenita, welcome in our studio.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with Los Angeles.
Trashy and beautiful.
Touring.
Pleasure and pain.
Holland.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
Well, it's kind of a game, this
Uh-huh.
is, yeah. Holland.
Wooden shoes and windmills and talking backwards.
Glamour.
L7.
Kiss the boot. Kiss the corn of shiny, shiny Alice. Shiny Alice on my toe. Get the pads of furry velvet. Furry velvet by Dr. Scholl.
You just got back from tour over in Europe.
Correct.
Right? And I was talking to the other girls and they said that went real good.
It went very well. A very fruitful tour.
I noticed something happening from our inception to charting in England and stuff. It is getting bigger.
So it's got to be kind of wild because things are really starting to happen for L7 right now. I mean, just from being this really core people that all the people that listen to college radio were into L7, but now it's like a lot of people that are out there buying Pantera or Ozzy Osbourne.
Who sit on
are going
chairs
out
like
there,
this.
Who sit on it and are on shows like the Headbangers Ball.
I really didn't think women could play rock, but then I saw you and imagine my surprise. What do you think about that? I despise Morrissey, you know. Yes.
This is 5 p.m. Live.
You will not be sorry you tuned into this show. This is a show with variety. Today, we're going to meet people who want to be mummified when they die. That's a new trend. And where do old rock and rollers go? Well, to a rock and roll retirement home. Such a place is in the works. And we're going to meet the band, L7. You didn't want us to say that you're an all-female group. Well, obviously you are. So, you know, I guess we don't need to say that, do we?
No, we don't.
No.
Paula.
But I just did, sorry. Well, now I heard that you had done as well as the Go-Go's as they first started out. Is that true?
No, we're nowhere near. Look, we've gone copper with our record. They went like multi-platinum. We're only in the semi-precious metal category right now.
Well, how long have you been doing this?
7 years.
A long time.
7
You know, I
long
think I'm going to
years.
pass up the rock retirement home and go straight to the mummy guy. That's how long I've been at this.
I love how you've been paying attention to 5 p.m. Live. What do our four-legged friends and our feathered friends have in common? Sometimes they're friends with each other. Stay with us.
So what's up? Oh, thank you. They're throwing mud at us. That's lovely. Welcome to Reading.
L7 have become famous for their riot girl anthems, including this one, my own particular favourite, which contains the timeless lyric, "Got so much clit, she don't need no balls." Exactly.
That show was a big deal for us to get on that show. You know, it was big. Nirvana was the headliner at their peak. We had no sound check. They just threw you out there.
Sorry, we're having some technical problems up here, being the professionals that we are.
As a performer, what makes the difference between a really good show and a piss poor show, or one that you had a bad night? If the sound is crappy on stage, just forget it. You're faking it. You're pretending that you're having a good time, because you're not. You're thinking, how in the hell can I get out of here?
Wait a minute.
It was tough out there, and the monitors sucked, and we were pelted with mud the entire time. Reading is like a sheep farm, so it's like mud mixed with shit.
No, you got Susie's guitar. It's so cool.
And God bless Becky Reck of the Lunatics. Becky was egging on the crowd to throw the mud at her and not us, you know?
Got me. Ha 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 ha. Got me again.
One of the reasons why I threw the tampon was like to save me from this situation. You know, I just wanted to do something like that would amuse me to because I wasn't having a good time. I couldn't get my pants down because they were duct taped because I'd had no belt. It was ridiculous. So it was just not smooth at all. And I had to announce what I was doing because there were no jumbotrons or anything.
All right, I got a little present for y'all. Eat my used tampon, fuckers. Oh, Jesus. Watch out for tuberculosis. All right.
After that show, we walked off stage feeling deflated. Jennifer and I both kind of looked at each other. That was the first hiccup that I felt. And I think she felt it too, because we both kind of were like sort of speechless. But we just went into a trailer, and there was our publicist, and I said, get a press release ready.
You'd like to me.
No, not about that.
You'd like to me about anything else.
We're getting our instructions. Hey, guys.
Beep, beep.
What's happening?
Oh, look at that crane. Oh, Jesus, it's just waiting to land on someone's head. Susie, just look up. Susie, you look smashing against this backdrop. Just look up. Look at all the things above her. You look very swinging London.
Our appearance on The Word was kind of weird because the whole show was pretty silly. It was kind of an all over the place sort of variety show. And we showed up and they had a male bum contest going on.
Tonight on The Word, the best bums in Britain.
The Word. Take it from me, tonight's show is going to be hot. Hotter than Windsor Castle, in fact. And to kick off tonight, this is 4 Californian girls, L7, pretend we're dead.
And I knew it was live TV, and I just decided to get weird with it.
L7 made a big splash on The Word, but producer Paul Ross says L7 won't be banned from the show. Next time, however, the group will be required to wear suspenders.
Then we got home, and we got an offer to play Brazil. That was massive. We didn't know how we would be received. We had no idea how big we were, but we were like huge in Brazil.
The whole experience was really surreal from the moment we touched down.
All the kids were waiting at the airport for the arrival.
We got in a bus, There were all these other bands. They were in different buses. We had security guys. They had guns in their socks. They had like ankle holsters with guns in them. It's just really weird. Handguns, you know, like they were packing.
At the hotel, there'll be thousands of kids. Every time you leave the hotel, you're going to get free. What might happen is you'll never go out by yourself. That's a rule one. Never leave the hotel by yourself. And in most cases, we'll just have a security person with you when you go out. All right? In a lot of cases, you'll be leaving through the back door of the hotel.
Oh, look at all girls. How cool. Oh my God.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
It's a magazine.
It was a great experience, but it was also very sort of alienating.
Police escorts to the stadium. It was funny and surreal, but you could also see where that would get really scary after a while.
Dude, I got stomachache.
I forget all who was on that festival, but it was Nirvana, the Chili Peppers.
The whole thing. Like this. Only a roadie. Only a roadie. Yes, I am a rock and roll slut. Yes, I am a rock and roll slut. Yes, I am a rock and roll.
No, see, what you are is obnoxious.
Playing in front of all those people, that was serious pinch me. It was the biggest show I think we'd ever played before.
I just remember trying to remember how to breathe, just keep breathing. I mean, it was ridiculous. It's a sea of humanity.
Like, oh, I would like more of this, please. Yes. It's only up from here.
Japan is really fun. We had done a photo shooting with those sick masks, and the whole audience came with the masks the next night.
lips are beautiful. I've just been to the doctor in Beverly Hills.
When I was a little 17, sneaking into the punk rock bars, John Waters was such a big part of the punk rock scene in Chicago. And also to be in a John Waters movie was like, what?
He said he liked our attitude and our politics. He said, I don't care what it sounds like, I don't care what the lyrics are, I just want it to be called Gas Chamber. And so we wrote it in character as Camel Lips.
Right at the crotch was a prosthetic lady parts. The outer vag area was on the outside of the pants.
I mean, how could you not love those pants? They're just obscene in all the right ways.
Joe. Joe Martin.
It's right here. The Susie Solo.
We recorded Hungry for Stink. There was a conscious decision to make it sound a little dirtier, a little less polished than Bricks Are Heavy.
I got really dark and paranoid on that recording. I wanted to move out of LA. I was really afraid of being carjacked.
And Motley Crue were recording there too at the same time. They invited us to come in and listen to a track of theirs. And we walk in and there are magazines taped all over the room of naked women.
Look at all the pinocchles.
Tanita sent out a runner, because we had a runner. He was sent out to get boy magazines. And we hung those up all over the room. And then we invited them to come in to listen to the track.
I don't understand. All I know is I'm not getting paid enough to deal with all this penis. That's just the bottom fucking line.
I like pranks and I like shocking. I love Johnny Rotten and Rock and Roll Swindle and, you know, that kind of stuff. After the Susie thing, we put out a press release every video we made of some catastrophe, which never happened. Like on Andre, I had our press agent say that I was attacked by a poodle and admitted into Cedars-Sinai Hospital. So when we hit Lollapalooza, it was kind of up in the air if we were going to get astronaut. We weren't asked any of the years before, so we sent them a fax that said, who does L7 have to blow to serve Coors at Lollapalooza? Love, L, always the bridesmaids, never the brides, 7.
Lollapalooza is back for the 4th year. This year, music industry weasels are picking outrageous all-girl band L7, who you saw, to break big as a result of the tour. Now, their new album, Hungry for Stink, great name, hits stores on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Bianca?
Good luck to him. Thanks, David.
Expectations for L7 were very high in the wake of Nirvana, but we weren't cracking a gold record. We were not getting hard rock airplay, so that will hurt you. Because when you're signed to a major, there must be results. For me, even with these amazing shows, I started to feel our trajectory starting to slow. I had a lot of fun on Lollapalooza, but it wasn't like professional triumphs. It was like hanging out with other bands and being bad and just fucking off.
We played in the daytime, and we were playing in a lot of these things called sheds, which are a small amphitheater with a roof over it. That was an awful experience because the audience was just sitting, and they were really far away, and they were just sitting there, and it was the daytime. It just was wrong.
Look at, there we go. Get it.
hated playing in the daytime almost as much as Nick Cave did.
How Susie and Jennifer did that sober, hats off to them, because Dee and I just wanted to like get fucking wasted, you know, after every show.
It just was difficult being sober at that level. It's a constant party.
The 90s were a great hurrah. There were drugs everywhere. I mean, heroin was falling out of people's pockets.
It's the old story in the book about artists and playing around with drugs.
But we were all fuck-ups at one time or another, and we were all concerned for each other at different stages of our career. I checked myself because I was doing some really stupid stuff. I was supposed to be at sound check at like 5 and it's like 7, but I'm in bed because I took acid and drank a bunch of beer, and I'm eating Chef Boyardee beefaroni out of the can. Anita's knocking on my door, and I answer the door naked, and I turn around and there's all these coins stuck to my backside. I partied like a maniac for 13 years and then had to put a lid on that shit.
And then Kurt's death and losing people close to us was kind of a wake-up call.
Hello. Because if that can happen to Kurt Cobain, fuck, you can't believe it. But it changed everything. Things got darker. It affected everybody.
And then Green Day fucking came out, and they were totally on fire. Green Day were just the new thing, you know? Nirvana was dead, and here comes Green Day. The kids loved it because it was like upbeat, and it wasn't, you know, grunge angst.
I think it's kind of cool that we've all gotten past the grunge revolution and we can now go into a new thing. We're optimistic.
What do you call that? The sponge. What's the new thing? The vaginal sponge revolution. The vaginal sponge revolution.
I've never been this hard before.
You know, those kids that showed up for Green Day were on a total bummer once Nick Cave came on. You know what I mean? It went from like adrenaline to heroin, like with us in between on Quaaludes and booze.
We are L Beer Gut 7, the soft white underbelly of grunge rock and roll.
So anyways, let's get the cliche stuff out of the air. Like, what kind of year has it been for you and all that? How's it been?
It's been annus horribilis.
Yeah.
No, it's been a good year.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, and so like, how'd the album do overall? Is that compared to Bricks Are Heavy or your previous releases?
I think it sold about the same. Is that right?
Yeah. They had high expectations for this record.
Let them down. They had high expectations. Once again, we let them down.
So basically, all the same people that bought the last record bought this one.
Right. We did not broaden our fan base one iota.
Yeah.
We didn't break on through to that other side, if you know what I'm saying.
In hindsight, not at the time, but, you know, probably subconsciously at the time, but in hindsight, I see that year as kind of an unraveling sort of year. People were expecting us to go gold, and so, you know, when that doesn't happen, you can start to feel that we let people down. And then Umbar died, you know.
We had a very dear friend and roadie who died on our tour bus. And we weren't on the bus with him when he passed away, which is frustrating. And I know that, you know, we all were very hit with grief. My feeling was we almost became inconsolable over that grief.
It really is kind of a blur for me, and I also shut down a little bit.
There's no way to sum it up. It just was really devastating. Losing another person close to us that way, it just was like, okay, enough already.
She's on the town off the wagon. She's on the town off the wagon. She's on the town off the wagon. She's off the wagon, 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 wagon.
Cool. I guess. Is it cool?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
I guess I was surprised that Jennifer left in the middle of a recording session.
I just remember sitting outside at a table, chilling, and it's all kind of a blur, but a little, like, you know, like a torn piece of notebook paper was given to us. And it was a letter from Jennifer written in pencil. And that's how she told us she was leaving the band.
I remember starting to have a lot of concerns over my health, and I might have to leave. My own control issues were getting fired up. I was having money concerns. I was grieving over the loss of my father and Umbar. Any one of those things would have not been a problem, but all of them kind of converging together. It was just going to be hard to continue.
Meanwhile, Jennifer Finch has announced that she's leaving L7 to go back to college, leaving that veteran all-female group to start searching for a replacement to tour behind Finch's swan song, a new album due this winter.
I was angry, but I think I was mostly really sad because Jennifer was so fucking good and she was so loved. Getting someone to replace that's tough.
I remember feeling very nervous in the pit of my stomach, like, what are we gonna do? But we just got proactive and started auditioning, put the feelers out and auditioned a few people.
The battery's totally gonna go dead.
Okay, here we go.
On the go.
Gail came to us from a recommendation from the Luna Chicks. She said, oh, you ought to check out Gail Greenwood. She'd be perfect. And indeed she was. Yes, we scored with Gail. Musically, she's awesome. She fits into the band with the personality. Everything's just clicking. So.
That's cool. That's
yeah.
always nice. And they have a new CD out. It's called The Beauty Process, Triple Platinum.
Okay, so I'd like to make a toast right now to L7's new album.
When Jennifer left the band, it was a huge wake-up call, and it made Susie and I get very serious about what we were doing, and we got very focused again. It was do or die, we felt. Now with Gail in the band, The Beauty Process was a record that we all kind of got our shit together on, which we were really proud of.
Set yourself free by buying the new L7 album.
We got used to these kind of cycles, touring and then writing and recording and then touring. I think people assume that you're raking in the cash if you're on the cover of Spin magazine, but Unless you sell an insane amount of records, you're really just a working stiff at best.
I'm attaching these balls to the hats. So,
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
ka-ching, yeah, rake it in.
She's sewing on the balls.
Tours are promotional, but you make money on merch or whatnot. And a lot of times, by the time you go on a tour, you're in debt. And so you come back with $5,000 or whatever, and you already owe that. So all of a sudden you're in the hole really fast.
In our peak year, I think we were making $500 a month each. It's like, here, you've got a tour bus. It's like, oh, wow, we've got a tour bus, how cool. Like, not realizing, oh, that's coming out of your ass.
Fuck that crap.
Look out, world, 'cause I'm coming to get ya. Hello, Sydney.
What if this is a Titanic situation?
Don't say that.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Look out, world, 'cause I'm coming to get ya. Look out, Osaka.
Get your top up. Get your top up. Ready. Get your top up. Top up now.
What happened?
What happened? She had her top up and he walked right in. What did he see?
They're a string bikini style. We're thinking about profit margin here.
Oh, I brought that. Susie Petty's right here. Come on,
How'd you got them?
yeah, there you go.
I wore them.
Whoa!
Get your
Okay, got it here. What, green or white?
White or green? White or green?
That was maybe like a sign when Warner's didn't do a video that something was wrong. We had very little sleep and we flew from Portugal to play a show in Finsbury Park. And it was a show with Kiss. And it was early morning and we were at this venue at the park and we were backstage. And it was just really strange the way people were kind of distant or, our press agent was kind of distant or weird. I don't know. It was just really bizarre. And come to find out later that afternoon that the record label had dropped us. It was so surreal, like getting dropped and playing with Kiss and being so sleep deprived that I felt like I was on hallucinogens. It was really weird. The decline in the band, meaning you don't have support of a big record label and their press machine and different things, then you go back to the level that you started with, which is do it yourself, DIY.
This guy was on his way to work,
and he saw that we were leaving, and he just happened to have our single on him.
Oh. Just so happened the
Just so
rare
happened.
collectors.
You
It's
were
very
taking it-
rare.
Were you taking it to work to tack it up by your little cubicle?
Right on, yep. You're gonna go right up above my desk.
All we have is us. Us and a booking agent. And by this time, Gail's out of the band. That didn't work out. She probably thought that she was going to be touring the world and making decent money, and that just wasn't the case.
So it's been a long time, and we have another familiar face. Some of the reality check viewers may know. Janice is in L7.
Hi, Danny.
Yeah. Good. yeah. Damn. This is so awesome. I mean, Janice has always been the driving force in every band she's ever been in. So I mean, she is just perfect for L7.
Cool. We're back, and we have no money. We have no label. We have a booking agent, and we have us, and that's it.
We kind of had the feeling, God, if we can just stay together, keep making records, if we can just tough this out.
We're not going to give up at this point, so we started Wax Tadpole Records.
What about your Slap Happy thing?
That's our new CD.
Yeah.
We started our own label called Wax Tadpole Records.
Why did you start your own label?
Because we were sick of the suits getting all the hookers and cocaine. So we wanted the hookers and the cocaine, so we are now record company moguls.
Through all of the trials and tribulations of life, playing was always a positive thing. But it did seem like it was getting harder and harder, and I was getting older, and I didn't know quite how I wasn't going to be able to maintain an income. Everything was falling apart.
The next thing I knew, Janita told me that Susie called her and quit over the phone. Not a letter, but a phone call. So that's it.
I think the stark reality of being 40, I had no way to support myself. Maybe we should have quit sooner, and maybe I should have made a family, and, all this, it was really harsh. There's a lot of self-loathing because I thought I'd fucked up my life. You tell that to anybody, and they're like, what do you mean? You traveled all over, you played music, you look at these videos. But I felt like, what am I gonna do? I don't have health insurance. I am a piece of shit. Like, what have I done to my life?
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was really stunned. I don't remember, but probably Janita must have said to me then, well, that's it then. Because without Susie, we're not going to get another Susie. I don't remember who I told. I don't remember if I cried. I probably did. Probably was stunned for a while.
Early on, one of the first songs Susie wrote was You and Me Till the Wheels Fall Off. And they did. Being in a band, it's like your family. With the loss of the friendship and the loss of my creative partner, just the shitty way that it ended, I was devastated. I think that we were all hoping to be able to avoid each other because it was still so raw. And I think we all got depressed when that happened. It's hard to quit a band, and it's hard to be left holding the bag. Just Dee and I, and it was brutal and a very humbling experience. There's nothing that'll break your heart like seeing your road cases loaded onto a pickup truck, being sold to some guy for pennies on the dollar. Slap Happy was made out of sheer determination. We made that record for nothing, and the distributor went belly up. They came to us and they said, hey, do you want to buy your CDs back? We couldn't even afford to ship them back to LA from New York. So Slap Happy went into a landfill, and I was feeling like our whole career went into that landfill with it. When the band broke up, and during the years following, the digital footprint of L7 was very minute. It was almost like we didn't exist. Then with social media popping up and these pages, fans started to gather, people keeping us alive, archiving us for the future.
When I walk on stage, I start to own it. Like a dog pissing on something or a cat doing its thing. I mean, I walk on that stage and the nervousness becomes, all right, I'm here to rock you. Are you ready? It's gonna get scary.
I always felt like we crossed a lot of barriers. We broke through a lot of barriers. Everybody's got a shit list or should have a shit list.
Did we have a huge hit chart topper, break the bank kind of thing? No. But as a body of work, I'm super proud of us.
We were just a rock band that had a lot of firsts, and sometimes when you're ahead of your time, you're just behind on your rent.
At the end of the day, we're rich in the things that count.
The fans kept us alive. We kind of owed it to them not to pretend we're dead.
Push it.